Park Board meeting of the City of Connersville of Indiana is now in session. Carrie, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carrie, would you do the roll call, please?
Scott Keyfaber.
Here.
Carrie Piper.
Here.
Ann Kirshner. Jeff Cooley.
Here.
Vane Lushwa.
Here.
Harold Gordon.
Here.
Okay. Do we have any additions or corrections to the reading of the minutes from the 25th meeting? Anybody have any additions to that or changes that need to be made?
I move we pass them as presented.
Okay, I have a first motion.
Second.
Got a second. Okay. All in favor of the meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody? Okay, meetings are good. Meeting minutes are good. All right, let's move on to our new business. Tonight we've got Jennifer Young to come talk to us about the Hope Pregnancy Center and their fundraiser. She wants to talk to us about the rental agreement.
I do. So I am an overachiever. I put together a packet for you guys. I don't know if you've had any time to review that yet, but I did attach this year's proposed agreement and the last 2 years of agreement just for your reference. So in the past, we've paid $100 for the building. The day before, which is a setup day, has always been free, and then the deposit has usually been waived. And so we would like to just request that the day before still be free and the damage deposit still be waived.
It is part of our nonprofit policy that we don't waive deposits just because if there is damage, we still need some sort of insurance for that purpose. So we don't usually waive those for anybody.
And I don't recall this last year coming to the board.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last year, I don't remember, we probably didn't have this policy in place. I think we did it at the beginning of last year, and you were probably already grandfathered in at that point in
Probably.
time.
Yeah. So you can imagine my surprise this year when the price went up. And
I am
I
sure.
didn't budget this in.
Right, and I understand that. So, I guess my question to you is, do you understand our side of it as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm not contesting going from the 300 to the 350 or whatever the price increase is. I understand that. I just would like to request the day before be free.
okay,
Because there's no way we have a noon event and a 6 o'clock Handbags for Hope event. There's no way we could get in there at 8 and get everything set up by 11 when the doors open.
okay,
So it's crucial that we be able to set up the day before.
okay. Let me ask you this question. This is a pretty big event for you guys,
It
correct?
is.
Okay, you guys actually draw in quite a bit, and a lot goes on for your center, okay?
Which is great since we're a nonprofit and
Right.
have been able to fundraise a lot.
Right, and you saying that, we're a nonprofit as well, okay? So what, would the Hope Pregnancy Center be willing to, maybe publicize or advertise at the park if we were to say, hey, you know, here you go, we are gonna help you out with this, would you be willing to say, hey, the park is also partnered in with this event?
Absolutely.
Okay,
We have different sponsorship levels, and so whatever amount we agree upon, we would put you in as that sponsorship level, which means you would get radio credit mentions, you would get mentions at the event, your name would be on all of the event tables, which at the 6 o'clock event is several hundred people, assuming
Okay.
we still have no restrictions. But
Okay.
Dr. White is our medical director, and so he'll advise us of what the protocol will be when we get there in April.
okay, and how much we looking at then?
It should be on this paper.
Yeah, I know you had it written down somewhere.
It looks like Wednesday's cost is $240. And then Thursday's cost is $345.
Okay, so we're talking about $240 then.
And the deposits we don't cash. unless there's a problem.
I do remember
So,
that. I wrote
that's
a
really
check,
not a
and
huge
I think
deal.
Erica just gave it back to me last year.
So, if we waive the day before, which is $240, are you gonna be willing to go ahead and write that check for her to hold and give back to you
For the
for the deposit?
deposit, sure.
What sponsorship level is 240?
Yes, that's my next question.
So there's a $200 sponsorship level. You get credit mentions. We have a weekly radio segment on 2 different radio stations, so we can mention you there. If anybody wants to come to Purse Bingo, I can give you a ticket. You guys just have to fight for it. And we can provide you with a t-shirt and whatever else. There's a whole package, which I can give that to Catherine.
Okay,
Whatever else you would like. I mean, you just tell me what you feel like is appropriate as a nonprofit to nonprofit. I want to make sure that you don't feel cheated as well.
well, my big thing is we wanna help, but we have our restrictions as well. So that's why I say, getting our name out there with you, okay? That advertisement helps get us into the community. Lets them know we're backing certain things. We're here to help the community as well. Okay, I think that's important. That's more important than getting stuff. Okay, that face of the community is what we want.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm for it.
I like that idea. I think that, in exchange for, being a sponsor, that's how small communities need to work. I mean,
And that's
You know, if
something we
we're able
haven't
to
asked for before.
yeah, if we're able to swing it and they're able to give it, I think that it's a win-win for everybody.
And it's more or less past precedent. That's how we've done it for a few years.
Yes, yeah, it is. I mean, to a certain extent, we're just trying to make it more on paper.
Right.
Trying to get it to where when people come to us, that's maybe what we're looking for. Okay.
Well,
So then-
and the important thing with their event too is she's asking during office hours, and that's not a big of a deal as when people come and ask for, we
Right.
want to set up in the evenings and that kind of thing. So
Right.
us being there, that's not a big problem.
Okay. Okay, sounds like you've, so let's take a vote, all in favor of, the day before waived, and, in exchange for some advertisement on their end, all those in favor of, that, please, vote aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, looks like you got it.
Now, thank you, I appreciate that. Should I come back for our banquet in October and do this again, or?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, we're gonna have another discussion later on down the road in tonight's meeting about some ongoing events, okay?
okay.
Yes,
One other thing, if there are damages, I mean, if they were to occur, then those would be cost on,
They would not receive their deposit back.
right.
well, they don't have a deposit. though.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
they're
they
gonna
do.
leave the check.
I'm still gonna
Oh,
write
I
a
see.
check, and then they can either cash it or not, depending upon,
Right, as long as they take care of the place, they get it back.
right, which we always do.
Right,
So we'll,
Rest assured,
we'll fill this part out and then we'll send it to you
perfect.
and then we'll just go from there.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
thank
you'll
you.
just-
Thank you so much.
Good luck
Thank
with
you.
your event, too.
Thank you.
It's exciting that
Thank you.
there's plans for an event in April.
Yes.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you,
your
Jennifer.
support. All right,
Bye.
thanks so much.
Okay, next on our new business is the Connersville High School 2021 Prom.
Good evening. So my name is Michael Lathery. I'm a teacher at the high school and the class of 2021 sponsor. This is Kendra Young, one of our class officers. And we wanted to come today to talk about prom. So we have prom currently booked for May 8th. And the senior class is, I believe you have a paper in front of you that Ms. Lewis prepared to give you a summary of what we're asking for today. That's on the back of that sheet. So one of the things we're looking for is to be able to prepare in advance. So May 3rd through May 7th, to be able to get in there in the evening, 5:30 to 10-ish, to be able to start decorating and setting up in the banquet hall. We're asking for you to waive the fee for those days for us. And I believe that you have the $480 charge for the actual day of the event itself that we would pay. We also have pay the deposit. That's on there. Is there anything I'm leaving off that sheet?
Now, that's, you're talking about getting in the evening to do the
Correct,
decorating.
just to set up in the banquet hall.
Okay,
We might end up needing to use the gymnasium in terms of meeting our capacity limits for the building. So if we want to be able to fit all seniors in the building and we're a red county at the time, we might need to use the entire building to be able to fit them in.
what's the gym schedule like during that time? Got a bunch of things going on in there at that time?
In,
May, beginning, first week of May.
I don't think so. We got all the adult sports are everywhere else, they're not.
Okay, I figure they'd probably be moving outside mainly.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know it's a big ask to ask for that much money for such a nice building for our senior class, but this year has been really unprecedented for the class of 2021. Normally, our senior class has built-in fundraisers that they sort of inherit every year on a rolling basis to make sure there's funds available for prom. And this year's kids haven't been able to do any of that. Not only have they not been able to fundraise from these 4 events, which usually bring in $2,000 to $3,000, which is at least half of the average prom budget, but they haven't been able to do the other things like homecoming and all of those events. So if there's any assistance that the board is able to provide to us, we would be really grateful.
okay. Again, I'll ask what I asked last time with Jennifer. The school has a media center, and the school has the ability to get some information out.
Right.
Would those students or those folks that run the media center be willing to work with us a little bit to advertise different things like the park sporting events, sign-ups for the parks? There are different things that they do, because we always have sign-ups for softball, baseball, we have sign-ups for soccer, things like that. And while school's in session, I mean, that's a good place to present those.
Yep.
And even advertise some of our summer employment, because we use a lot of high school students to do our part-time employment over the summer. So, I mean, is that something that you can convince the school to use their advertising that they get to the students to put us on there somehow?
I'm sure not only could we mention those opportunities on CHS Today, for example, but our media class could put together a package, for example, promoting upcoming camps or sporting events. You know, we have lots of senior athletes that would be happy to do a promo for kids to get them excited and involved.
That would be awesome.
Yes, because I know CHS Today goes to the elementary schools. They actually put those on there.
And it's on YouTube, so people watch
Okay.
it all over.
Because some of these younger kids aren't necessarily, they don't read the piece of paper that gets sent home in the packet, okay? If you put it on TV, they're probably going to see it and want to ask mom and dad to sign up, so.
And you like sponsorships, so one of the things we're planning on giving each of the kids for prom is like a little safety sort of kit, you know, a mask and sort of a hand sanitizer, that sort of thing.
No, you're not.
So
You're giving them PPE.
you know, you could be the sponsor of the PPE. The parks
No,
department.
we'll take a pass on that one. Thank you.
You just want the
We
advertising.
want good marketing. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, because the one thing that happens when you come in after hours to do your setup is we do have to have somebody at the building to watch it while you're there.
Okay.
So that is a cost to us,
Okay.
okay? I'm looking at ways to offset that cost. And marketing is one of the things that, we don't have a big budget for. So if I can convince somebody else to do that marketing.
And you'll have to be you will have to be consistent on your times. So
Okay.
it's not like, oh, it's 10 o'clock, but we really need to stay till 11:30.
Yeah.
It's like the person working the desk wants to go home, they have a kid probably they're paying a babysitter for, and that kind of thing.
So,
But as we get closer to that day and know exactly what needs to be set up and how it's going to run, we could certainly probably narrow down those hours and increase our manpower to consolidate the time that we spend in the building.
Well, on your letter here, you got 4.5 hours, so is that what you think you'll need?
4.5 hours for 5 days essentially,
Yeah,
that's an overabundance of caution,
okay.
I think.
So
I did
you've,
5:30 to 10, so.
Right,
all right, so you've overestimated, hopefully you come in under,
yes.
okay.
I mean, 3 days, maybe.
Okay,
We'll see. The DJ is a pretty good setup, so we'll see.
okay.
So would we get in touch with Sydney then to work on like the things you were suggesting, or do we work with you on that? Or?
So, right, so Sydney Joe will be the point of contact for getting things onto CHS today.
'Cause that would be a huge help for us.
I think so. I mean, I really think that's important, okay? Kind of, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours a little.
Even do like a promo about the Miller building.
Yeah,
That would be great.
okay.
Well, and I know our athletics department is interested in building those feeder programs for the
Mhm.
sports too.
Right,
So it helps everybody.
yeah. All right, anybody have any questions or any thoughts with this for them? Because at this point in time, I'm willing to waive all that if they'll work with this. You okay with that?
Could we ask for only the $480 charge for the banquet hall? And then if we end up needing the gym because of capacity restrictions and things like that, that we could get that waived for free?
What are we looking at there?
We already have the building blocked for you guys.
Huh.
So.
Today's your lucky
Yeah, I'm
day.
sure anybody would really want to.
Right.
Nobody's gonna want to
It's
be,
just
You
prom
can't
next
go.
door.
Yeah, don't
Go
worry about
ahead
those kids.
with your birthday party.
right,
So Scott, what you're proposing is we waive the $480 and $135 for the,
No.
No,
No, they're
no.
gonna pay the 480.
480, waive all the
Just
They're
the
gonna
week.
waive it.
The week of
The week of prom.
setting up.
And we still have their deposit from last year. Their check is still good.
Okay, so yeah, what I'm proposing is just that whole week that they're asking for to get in there, to let them have that for free.
Yeah.
And you guys, you're really gonna have to watch the restrictions too. Like,
Right.
and we will
Mhm.
obviously too, but yeah, hopefully you guys will be good this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping by the time May comes around, they really lighten things up.
That's what we're hoping.
So it looks like the week for setup is on us. You still got to pay your fee for the banquet hall, and then we good then? Is that what you're looking for, everything?
Sounds like it.
Okay, anybody else have any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of waiving that fee? Aye.
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 All those opposed? You're good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine will be in touch with Sydney. Okay, now moving on to our next little discussion, and it relates to what we just went through. Discuss nonprofit rental policy. And what I want to discuss about that is we get a lot of people that come in and they fill out our nonprofit, which we set up to help reduce their costs. Then they turn around and they come in and they ask us to give it to them. Okay, which we do a lot of. I'm proposing that we put a limit on that. In other words, we have a set amount that we're willing to give away per year. Once that set amount has been set, then we don't have any more to give away. Okay, you have a bag full of goodies, you give them all away, you don't have any more to give away. I think we could put a couple on there that we want to do each year, no matter what. Prom can be one of those. But something that we believe in, and maybe set a policy that states when they come to us and ask us, we can say we have this amount of money to donate to those types of things. We're willing to use X amount of dollars for your program, so that way we can spread it out. Because if we keep doing it for everybody all year long, we're not covering some of our basic needs costs when we do, if we do that, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, Catherine, how many nonprofit things do we have a year on the average?
They come and ask for free.
Yeah.
All
At
of them.
least a dozen, at least. I mean, the big ones are prom, the Veterans Weekend, the 2 Hope events. Vonda usually has 2 or 3 events a year she wants free. I know of what'd we talk about? 4 more we know are coming.
Yes.
Are those from actual nonprofit organizations with a 501c3?
Yeah, and they're all they're all
They're all,
legitimate
I mean, like
causes.
every nonprofit is a worthy nonprofit.
Like
I mean, that's
tonight, we gave away almost $1,000.
right.
And I don't mean give away, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. I do like the idea of asking for the sponsorship in return. I had no idea the Hope Center was advertising on the radio and this and that. I mean, we've never asked for that in the past.
I think that's a great idea.
Well, I
And
thought
maybe they can put
we've
them on
always, if they've asked us, we've always said, I mean, for a couple of years now at least, hey, can you be can we be a co-sponsor, or we can, and we've always done that. I think that's always been a good thing. Now, what happens when we're out of money and some really good nonprofit wants, that we all want to get behind? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sorry, you're out. I mean, you know what I mean?
That's the hard part. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask this: how often are we actually? Now I know theoretically we're out $1,000, whatever. How often would somebody really have rented that each night?
You don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like in May, for the week that they just asked for, we probably wouldn't get every single night rented out. I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, you don't know. I mean, you could have volleyball in there. You could have a basketball practice in there because people are playing basketball all year round now.
Well, the other side to that is of not renting it and renting it. Okay, if we ask somebody to be in there, well, we've got to have somebody in there. So we are
Right.
paying when somebody does go in.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so to say, okay, they come in and we budget this correctly and we have money to give away, then we can give it a little bit to everybody. But I see what you're getting at. I mean,
I guess my thinking is just so the point of starting the policy in 2020 was to put some parameters on what we were doing and make it black and white. So it wasn't, for one thing, I didn't want to be making the decisions because that's what was being done. It was, I don't think these were coming through the board. It was just, yes, this is free, and I don't want to say, yes, you get this for free, and no, you get this for half off. That's not my place.
No.
I don't care who gets charged what. I just want there to be consistency to the process. So, to me, I'm kind of at a point where I feel like, what's the point of this policy when all anyone has to do is fill out a piece of paper, stand up here, and they get it for free? I mean, why
Right.
even have the policy? If, I think we're getting more consistent, but I think it's just going to continue. Everyone has a good case,
right.
And I understand, like, the prom, they didn't get to fundraise. Well, they come to us every year. It doesn't, it's, and I get it, but for me, it's just a consistency.
Well, one thing I've noticed since I've been sitting on the board, since we put the policy in and started it and had people filling out, we've had more people come to us. Whereas before we didn't. Okay, we didn't have that many people come and ask about free rentals or waiving the fees or anything like that. From all the meetings that I used to go to, it was a rare occurrence. Whereas now we're seeing a lot more of it. Since the policy, they have to fill out an application, and then they find out, oh wait, I can go to the board. Okay, because I think the decision was being made in the office. Okay.
Or do they also have to, before every event, each year, have to come up here and ask?
Every
Like,
time.
because
Now.
most of the ones assume that they can, like the Vonda Bishop thing goes on every year.
Right.
Every year
They
they
almost
need to
want
come
to try
in,
to
yeah.
schedule
And-
for next year.
Because the board will change,
Right.
you guys will change.
And Jen herself even mentioned that she was surprised at how this was because she didn't have to do it last year. Okay, so that is showing, to me, that is showing consistency because now they fill out the paperwork and they find out what they have to go through to get what they need. So, but that's why I say maybe we pick one that we like, that we feel is always deserving, and put it on there on the list. And
The
we
trouble too, and it's not just it's not just, can we have this day for free? It's always, we need, like the 2 tonight, we need days beforehand to set up. We're gonna have, we have Imagine Performing Arts in the Roberts Building. They're gonna want an entire week to set up for free. It's those week-long
Not the event
thing.
days.
It's not the event, it's just, but you can't rent the facility. You can't rent it if somebody's stuff is in there. And like Jeff said, it's not to say we're gonna make a bunch of money, but we're tying our own hands by, occupying the building, and I don't know the exact solution to that, but I think we need to rein it in a little bit.
One of the other things I think we could use some money for, I don't know how to say money, but marketing. I mean, a lot of people don't know what the park can do. I mean,
Right.
we have tremendous facilities there. And
I would give them the prom free every year for the marketing. I mean, that's a good trade.
And so that people come back to swim and to play sports and to go to the fair and do, all that sort of thing. It's just, and it's part of it is marketing. You just you want people to come on in, and then
But
yeah,
and a
spend
lot of
more
people
money.
come in and they say, "Sure, you'll be a co-sponsor," but you never see our name on anything.
No.
At the most, they post on Facebook about how their linens were wrong, or it's some dig on the park
Well, I mean, even with
after
the
they've
Hope
got
Center-
everything for free.
Even with the Hope Center being on our, to radio stations,
Yeah.
That's
gets
great.
out there,
Heck yeah, absolutely.
And the thing about the prom and the high school is, we need lifeguards, we need volunteers to do a lot of things, and it'd be good if we could just, if you could just get a little
Yeah.
help that way, just a little advertising and have
So
people come in.
what do you think our options could be for that then?
I was just trying to think about that. I think that, well, I mean, in this case, like the advertising is, that's money that, I mean, we didn't get, okay, we've lost the revenue, but that's money that we don't have to advertise for.
Right. And
So when people like that come in front of us and we get that kind of advertising, really, we're getting that money back.
Well, and they need to know, because, nonprofits, they don't have much money to begin with. I mean, like, if you asked Imagine Performing Arts to pay the daily rate for a week and a half while they rehearse and set up, they could not afford that. There is no way. You couldn't charge enough money to be able to pay that. And so I think part of the Parks Department, and I know that we can't give everything away, but is to be a good community partner, like you said. And so I think that if anybody is to come and ask for special provisions, they need to be prepared with a package of what they're going to give us in return.
That
Tonight
might-
was kind of on the fly. Oh, well, can you do
Right.
this? Well, we have these radio
Yeah,
after.
who knew?
Yeah.
Come prepared. If you're going to ask for something for free, what are you going to give in return? And I think that that's just something that it should be standard.
And I'm really glad Scott pointed that out. We are nonprofit too. We are not a for-profit
Some
business.
of the utilities that we pay every month were, I was asking Carrie
Wait till
before the
fair.
meeting.
Wait
It
till
is
fair.
it's a lot of money every month.
Wait till you see our electric bill for the week.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
It's 4 times.
I
what
can only
we're
imagine.
even given.
And so, there are costs associated with keeping the Roberts Building heated, keeping it clean, keeping it, but there needs to be a give and take, because I know that people can't afford, a week or a week and a half of full rate.
And maybe it's things like, okay, if you need a week to set up, you get office hours.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we're not gonna go above and beyond to pay from 4 to 10 or 4 to midnight or what's convenient for you. If you need in you're out by 4. I mean, that would be a big help.
Or
Or
you
that,
as,
you cover that cost.
yes.
We're
yeah,
already there.
Yeah.
We're already
You know, I mean, like,
there.
if you're there after 4,
You cover the cost.
you know, you cover that cost for somebody to sit.
And that would be cheaper in the long run for them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're not, I mean, I guess, we're out non-rental fee, but we're not
Right.
out the
Right.
person sitting there. I
Right,
think
we're
that's,
not the above cost from the
Right.
rental. How do we word this then? How do we put that out on paper so people understand?
I think it's just more conversation with them,
Okay,
like talking to them when they, maybe changing this form some that they fill out. Just saying, you know,
Would you be willing?
yeah,
Yeah.
say, I'll just say, you know,
Not
this is
would
what's
you
gonna
be,
help
what-
you.
what,
Yeah.
yeah.
What
Okay.
will you
what's
be?
in it for me?
What will
Yeah,
you be
what's
doing?
it, yeah.
Can
It
I
is,
add one
because,
thing real quick?
Mhm.
I did have someone call asking if they could have a wedding that weekend, and I told them it was already booked through Saturday.
For
They
prom?
said, they said, could we have the wedding on Sunday? Well, they couldn't set up at all for this wedding on
Because of prom.
Saturday, so I couldn't give them that Sunday option.
Right. And something like prom, yes, that is, I mean, it's for the kids to school. They really don't have many places to go for something like that. So yes, I understand that. That is that was going to be my question. Is you mentioned there's nothing going on. Well, generally in May weddings start.
Well,
Right.
Okay.
Graduation parties.
Graduation parties, and it's a little early, but some people are having them that early now. I think we need to figure out a best way to word that and put that on the sheet. If they're wanting to come to us and ask for something, especially when it comes to those rental agreements, is to find out what tit for tat, what's gonna, because we don't mind helping our community, but they got to help us too.
Well, you're under a budget.
Right, we are set.
Yeah, you can't do any more.
Right. So that will kind of give us leeway if they come to us to say, hey, you know, you're not willing to put us on an advertisement, put us on a radio. I said, well, in that case, you know, we can only go this far with helping you then. And that's where maybe setting a limit of how much we're giving away can help us keep that as well. Keep us reined in too. Because Harold, I'm sure, has a lot of things he'd like to see the kids get for free. Jeff has things he wants to see that people get for free. We all have our independent little area that we would like to see, and when we all agree that to do all those, then you know the park is the one who suffers. So
Well, in the case of, for weddings, I don't know, I'm maybe dreaming a little, but we have plenty of facilities that
We do.
could be used, you know, for a wedding. And I'm gonna say the pavilion, but, you know, that you can take that, you can take the Roberts Building, you can do, there's a lot you can do if the weather's right, but,
but you're also dealing with a bride.
yeah.
Her idea of her wedding have a wedding reception was the Miller Building. Okay, that's her dream. Well, if you can't offer it to her, you've destroyed a wedding.
it's true.
So
Still is
I
negotiation.
mean, probably the guys don't care, but.
yeah,
They had prom in the Roberts building last year.
they did.
You know, maybe that's what we do, and then we leave, because when you take the Miller building, you take 2 venues.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we say, sure, you can have the Roberts building, but you can't have the Miller building.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. They've had lots of proms in the Roberts building.
Well, I think this year's prom needs to be whatever those kids want. You know, those poor
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I talked to a few of the kids at high school, and yeah, it's just so different
It's-
for them.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
when
let's just
you're
hope
up
that,
there, you see
hope
it.
that we can have some semblance of a gathering.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy today, and his daughter's getting married, I don't know, May or June, and their state, they have a limit of how many people can come out on the dance floor. So it's like, once you hit the limit, then everyone has to
Everybody has to
down.
clear.
Take turns.
Yeah, basically.
Go back to dance cards.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Two people come on and two people work.
Right?
And you
We
make
do
50
like a
cents.
TJ Maxx where you have to stand outside.
Okay, so we're just have had this up for discussion, right? We're not-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just wanted to
Okay.
make everybody aware. I think we need to approach it because we do get so many that ask for stuff.
Okay.
So it's not that we want to be stingy with our facilities. But we need to make sure that they're being properly advertised as well. I think marketing is a big step.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
So we can update this form for next time. Do you guys want to talk about a donation limit?
I think that that's
next
so
time,
sticky,
because-
just kind of like what Jeff said, that is just, that is almost one of those, we're setting ourselves up for, you know,
For everybody,
think-
everybody in January coming and say, "Oh, I have
Right.
this thing in May. I have this thing in."
yes, and so.
That might be kind of nice.
You know, one of the great things about our small town
We'd
is
be
all of
done.
the nonprofits and
Yeah.
how much they care and how much they do for everyone. And I think,
True.
you know, if we can be that great community
Do
partner.
you guys all have a copy of our policy? Because they all get a free rental every year. Now, they don't get the Miller building or the Roberts building, I believe. But they get a free shelter, admin or Red Cross. I mean, I feel like we've
We
But
tried to
some-
I
include
don't,
them.
you know what, I thought this was the policy, so
No.
if you could send that to me, I
I'll
don't have
send it
that.
out to you
Yeah.
because
Well, I mean, and Scott knows, you know, there's so many nonprofits that go to the businesses to get money.
yeah.
And I'm sure Scott knows how it is I'm sure he gets asked all the time.
Every day.
And I don't know, how do you do it, Scott? I almost said Jeff. How do you do it, Scott?
Well, we try to spread it out as much as we can. Give a little everywhere.
Okay.
And there's some we don't, some we do. And it boils down to sometimes, well, we like this organization the best, we've been involved with it, we tend to give a little more there. Things like that. It's a difficult thing because the park is hit up probably every day.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard. Because you want to help, but you also have to understand we are limited. So that's why I thought this discussion was necessary, just so we can help ourselves a little bit too.
So is that something, instead of putting it in writing, that maybe they just need to come before the board and handle them one at a time?
Well, we've been kind of doing that, and
Yeah.
everybody gets. Unfortunately, they come without a plan.
Yeah.
It's what maybe putting something in there so that they can come to us with a plan.
Yes,
Okay, I think that's the important thing.
We'll work with
I agree
them
with
more.
that.
And that way we can, like Catherine just said, we can work with them then.
Yes.
And we can kind of crunch some things and figure something out and get something in return. I think something needs to put in there, wording wise, to say, hey, you know, I just don't know how to word it, to be honest with you.
I can help.
Okay.
I can't do it right off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but if you
I-
give me some time, I can help.
It'd take me a little bit to come up with something. But I think,
What is their reciprocation policy?
That's right.
and that's probably a good word to use in that. Glad you thought of that, because it'd take me a week to come up with that. All right, well, let's wait till next meeting if we can come up with something to add to the policy. And then we'll discuss it next time and maybe have that put in. That way we can move forward with it, okay?
Okay. That sounds good.
All right, very good. Well, let's keep moving forward then. Let's move on over to Dennis Ellis. He's on my agenda tonight. And it's not discussing the sports stuff either. So he's been put up and we're going to move him to full-time. I want to get make sure everybody on the board is okay with that. He's going from part-time to full-time.
So you all know that we get paid by an ordinance, so I'm asking you to vote my permission to go to City Council on March 1st to update the ordinance to move his pay to $12.02.60 per pay, and that's a change from his part-time hourly rate that's on the ordinance right now. And we came up with that based on what Daryl Drew had been making before he took a different job.
Has there been more stuff for Dennis to do?
Not to throw Dennis under the bus.
No, I'm asking.
No, he goes over hours every week because
He needs to be full-time.
I wanted him to go. I think I asked him
Okay.
3 times last year to go full time, but he was working with his mom at her business, and that wasn't fitting into his life at the time. And
Oh, I
Well, it
wholeheartedly
seems like it.
think he needs to go full-time. I just wanted to.
yeah,
So how many hours a week is that?
it would be 35, just like Carrie and me.
You're
what
okay
about-
with this, Dennis?
Yes.
Okay.
So what
No,
about
I haven't,
weekends?
no, just-
What about weekends and stuff like that when they have, so
That-
is his hours gonna be,
They're gonna
Flex.
be all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
he might work 1 hour on Monday and 10 hours on Tuesday. But we're gonna work out a system where he tracks what he is doing, and like.
Okay. Well,
So do you need a motion to?
yeah, let's get a motion to accept.
Well, I move that we move Dennis to full-time.
No, I second that.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, take it to the board, or take it to the council, and see if they approve. I'm sure they will, I hope. Okay, next item, Catherine sent over her goals for 2021. I want to first be the first person to say I read these. I went through them all, and I would just want to say there's a lot here to do. And if you can do half of them, I'm going to be thoroughly impressed. Okay, I'm already impressed, but if you can get through, these are good goals. There's a lot of things on here I really like. So I hope everybody got a chance to read through them, because I mean she really broke it down, and I think if we can get through a lot of these, this would be a good thing for the park.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the vision.
Mm-hmm.
So, nice job.
Like I said, one of the things I'd like to add is to put electric sights in for automobiles. And I think that should be put in there somewhere, get it in.
How many electric cars we have in town, Harold?
Well, this is odd, we did have one a year ago,
Yeah.
but they won't come here. You won't get them here,
I agree with planning that into River's Edge.
because, like I was telling them, they plan their routes by how far their cars will go.
Yep. I
And
know
if
they
they
do.
can't, and if they can't get here, they won't be here, because there's no place to fill up, so to speak. And so if we're having River's Edge, and you're trying to get people, you're trying to rent buildings, and there's people that have these electric automobiles, they won't come. So that's where you don't have any.
I think working that into River's Edge makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk to like downtown too. They're getting ready to do downtown. They need to put them in while they got the sidewalks and everything tore up. Put them in.
What kind of, do you have any idea what kind of costs those incur
I was working on it over a year and a half ago, and it was around $8,000
for one?
for one. Now, one of them had 2 receptacles, so you could fill.
And how do those work?
That
just
I
plug
never
'em
got.
in,
I
or-
never got that far into it.
Okay, because I'm not sure how.
Meyer.
But
Yes.
I do know Rushville has 2. So if they contact Mayor Pavey over there or Brian Sheehan, they would probably
Okay.
send us on someone to let us do it.
Okay. Well, you can probably if we're doing a mock-up for the River's Edge, you could have them put that in as part
That
of
makes
it.
sense.
You might as well. They probably know how to put them in, or they can find somebody that does. All right. Anybody have anything about those goals? I did have one note that I put on there, but you answered it as I went further. I was looking at the when I was looking at the soccer, you're talking about maintain facility as it is. I put a note in there about starting to have soccer tournaments, but then you had that in there later. So I don't know if that's a feasible situation to start soccer tournaments or something like that, because the facility's pretty nice. I mean, you got 2 full size fields that they can play on. I didn't know if that was a possibility, but I see you put it as part of your goals, so you must be thinking about it. Dennis must be thinking about it. So I don't know what's your thoughts on those.
Well, there's a lot of, that tournament wise, you kind of got it made out there for each age division too, so.
Right.
I think we got every field covered,
Okay, so we could do them if we could get them.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just something we haven't tried before.
Yeah, I think it's worth an option.
So
But
soccer's our biggest thing here.
I don't, when I sent you guys these goals, I also sent you our accomplishments for last year. And I just want to recognize everybody at the park because same team. And we have started a huge project with River's Edge thanks to $20,000 from the Lions Club. We've started just everything from building shelters to giant projects like River's Edge. And since I started in May, the park has raised over $130,000 in grants and sponsorships from our community. And I just think that's great. So we've redone the tennis courts. I mean, we've done a lot of things outside of our budget, and those projects would not have happened if we didn't get the grants and the sponsorships that we do. Dennis brings in at least $10,000 a year in sports sponsorships. It's just huge. So it's not a big number compared to other things, but for us, it's a big number. So.
Well, it is, and the people who do work at the park and the people who are there day in and day out, these accomplishments, they need to be patted on the back. I mean, there's a lot to do there, a lot more than what people see. I don't know if anybody's been up and seen the new shelter that they just put up that the Lions Club paid for. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's wonderful. So. And
then they went ahead and did another fundraiser and paid for all the picnic tables.
Nice.
So, I mean, we've gotten tremendous support. So, it's.
Well, part of our promotion could be the accomplishments too. And somehow you
When I do my year-end report next year, it's going to be good. And this was terrible, but.
This
Well.
is not terrible.
Well, it wasn't.
This is a wonderful list. And
We could do something really good next year.
Yeah.
Well, I think these accomplishments need to be taken to the council and the board of works and let them know. That way,
We did.
I know, but that they need to see that this is there's a lot of things getting done. Okay.
There really is. And when I went through and I looked at the list of all the things we had done, and I saw, I mean, seriously, 85% of those things were outside of our budget. I mean, that's unreal, you know. It just, everybody on our staff takes extra effort. Carrie takes extra effort with everybody that books a building. Dennis takes extra effort with every coach. I mean, we have a good team, and going through that list
Proves it.
yeah, made me think about it more.
Okay, good.
Hey, Catherine, I know I'm gonna be getting asked this question for long. When is the John Connor Nature Preserve, when are you planning on opening it up?
Probably March 1st,
March 1st.
when we open the bathrooms.
Okay.
All right.
Why, you got a couch you need to dump?
No toilet.
Refrigerator. Tires.
Oh, God. All right. Any more
When's the
discussion?
dump open?
Oh, gosh.
Dennis and I will go pick it up.
Yeah. All right. Any more discussion on the goals? All right. Let's move on. Poor Harold tells us everything's going to throw out there. All right. Let's move on to Dennis and the sports report.
This Saturday, we'll be winding up the boys youth league basketball. That tournament's going on first, second, third, and fourth. Fifth and sixth grade wound up this past Saturday. We've still got men's league and church league going on for another couple weeks. And we are still taking signups for spring soccer with a deadline of March 12th. And we're T-ball, softball, and baseball, all of those with a deadline of March 26th.
Okay.
And that's pretty much what we've got going on right now.
Well, maybe you can get some of those sign-up things sent over to the high school to get them to advertise those for you.
That's right.
Okay. All right, moving on then. We basically got the superintendent's report with their goals list and everything, but do you have anything else to add?
Well, I think what we'll do from now on is when I have to do my monthly report to the Board of Works and City Council, I'll just start using this as my superintendent's report if this works for everybody. If there's anything on here that you want me to add, just let me know. But this is how I report every month to them to let them know what's going on at the park. Usually there's more stuff on it, that most of our parks are closed right now, so. And then just so you know, the pool rates also go to City Council on March 1st. Those have to be approved, that you guys approved last time.
Okay.
So does this work for everybody?
Yes.
Works for me.
Okay. That makes my life easier.
That's what we're here for. All right.
Oh,
so
that was under old business, sorry.
that's, yeah, we're moving on to that
My
now.
bad.
Okay.
That was up here.
Yeah, we'll move on to old business now. Anything to bring up in old business? Okay. Anything under miscellaneous? Okay. All right, need to make sure everybody looked over the claims, including payroll. Then we'll need a motion to accept claims, including payroll.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, need a second? Got a second, Thane? All those in favor of claims, including payroll, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, claims are good. Public, anybody out there? All right, nobody to discuss anything. Need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Need a
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.